I'm Linda Elsegood, founder of the LDN Research Trust. It has been my honour to interview LDN researchers, prescribers, pharmacists and patients from around the world for many conditions. Thank you for joining us. This afternoon I'm joined by Simon from Canada, who uses LDN for alopecia. Thank you for joining us, Simon.
Thank you for having me.
So could we find out from you, how long ago it was when you first noticed that your hair was falling out, how old you were, and how that impacted on your life?
Yeah, well, I was just turning 40, and as I got near my birthday, actually, there was a lot of things going on in my life. It was a very stressful time. It wasn't just turning 40 that was causing me stress. We were moving house from one house to another, joining our family with my sister-in-law and my niece for all kinds of good reasons. And but it meant moving to a new house and doing renos and getting ready for that. And it was a really busy time. And yeah, I just started noticing. I think I didn't shave for a couple of days, and I noticed that I had a bunch of bald spots coming in my beard. So I started taking some pictures. And about 3 weeks later, I was coming back from a haircut, and my daughter said, "Oh, I guess daddies do have eyes in the back of their head." And I said, "What are you talking about?" And she said, "Well, you got 2 bald spots in the back of your head." And I said, "Okay, take a picture for me." And I had these 2 little eye spots in the back of my head. And from there, in about 6 weeks, from that point, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, I had to shave my head because I had so much hair falling out.
Goodness.
And it was really distressing. It was, you feel like, what's going on? No, none of the health practitioners have any answers. I went to see my doctor. The doctor said, "Oh, I've seen this before. It's not too bad." This was before I actually shaved my head. And, don't worry, it'll come back. It comes and goes, this kind of thing. And so it just proceeded to fall out. And it went throughout my whole body. And, I kept my eyebrows and eyelashes for a little while, but really I lost all my chest hair, all my body hair. And it only stopped at my knees when I finally got to see a naturopath and changed my diet. But, it was devastating, and I felt really at a loss at trying to figure out what was going on.
Literally feel naked, I should think.
You do, and you identify so much with what you look like, and it's natural for men to lose hair at some point. I actually have been pretty proud of my family of the dark-haired people in my family had kept my hair the longest, and then suddenly it was all gone, and you really feel like you lose who you are. You really, like some people say they feel naked or they feel like they lost their identity. And I totally relate to that comment. You look at pictures of people with alopecia and you go, everybody looks the same. We're different versions of Mr. Clean. And yeah, it's terrible.
So what did the naturopath suggest?
Well, naturopath first did a blood test to see what kind of allergies I had to food and designed a diet that was, it's kind of like an AIP, autoimmune protocol diet, kind of like a paleo diet, but custom for what I was allergic to. So we took away all the things that I was allergic to, and then all the things that cause major inflammation. So no gluten, no dairy, no alcohol, nothing with any yeast in it. So anything that could cause yeast, all the fermented stuff was out. Legumes were out. Corn was out. It was very restrictive, and essentially it was easier to describe what I was able to eat, which was good quality lean protein and good vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, the kales, all the stuff actually that's in the Betrayal series now, that was the stuff that I was asked to eat. And then a lot of good quality supplements. And then I guess she gave me a rice protein powder that I would make shakes with every morning. That was basically my breakfast. So a berry shake with rice protein and some shredded coconut and some good omega-3 oil. A little stevia to make it taste okay. And just started eating that. And that's about when the hair loss stopped, at least for my body hair. And it stopped at my knees. And for the longest time, I had no hair except for between my knees and my ankles.
Yeah. So how did that diet make you feel? I mean, did that give you more energy? Did you feel better inside?
I felt better inside. Very quickly. Started dropping a lot of weight. I wasn't a super overweight person. I'm about 6 feet tall, and I was about 215 pounds at the time. And I dropped down to 185 pounds within the year anyway. But I would like to, if I remember correctly, it was about 9 months, 6 to 9 months or something. I dropped down to that weight, and it felt amazing. Super stamina, brain fog gone, just felt great. Every time I ate, I felt great. Never felt bloated, lots of bowel movements, and I just didn't understand actually how good it felt to eat properly. I'd just been used to feeling bloated and gassy and just lethargic after eating a good spaghetti meal or something like that. And I felt really good physically. Mentally, it was very challenging. Always being different than everybody else at the table. Even though my family, my wife, my sister-in-law did a really great job of making sure that when they made food, it could be made, my way or their way for the kids and everything. And, but it was still very difficult. I felt isolated a lot, and it was a lot of work because there was times when they couldn't help me and they were out or something like that, and I'd have to make food. And you have to keep thinking, like, every meal, okay, when am I going to be home next to make food? And, I need to prepare 4 meals, because I'm going to be out and overnight somewhere or something. And every work function and any social situation, I couldn't have anything. The naturopath was very strict with me and just said, you can't cheat ever.
Yeah.
And that was hard and very, very difficult mentally. Yeah.
I've done it too, so I do know, and you have to ask, you have to check labels, things that you think there couldn't possibly be gluten in, there is, but it becomes easier over time, doesn't it? Because the foods you can and can't eat.
You can, and I mean, I didn't. I guess I check labels and everything, but I think my eyes have been opened even more recently to where gluten is hidden. And, if I had known what I know now at the start, I think I would have despaired even more. It's just so hard to get what you really need. But I made a go of it for probably a good 9 months before I, quote unquote, cheated, and started to see some results with that. Definitely some funny brown patches started appearing in my head. And I got armpit hair back, and body hair started to come back. Actually, more body hair came back than head hair during that process. But it was hard. Eventually we got to about 9 months in or so on the diet, and we were celebrating our 15th year anniversary with my wife, and we went to Hawaii, just the two of us, which was first time we'd done anything like that. And it was wonderful. And while I was there, I just let down my guard and decided to eat, just eat kind of good, but what was there in restaurants, and felt terrible initially, and realized how married I was to this diet, how I couldn't sort of cheat it. I gained weight. I felt terrible. I started seeing some hair loss. I went back on the diet, and then went on about another 6 months, and then we did a family trip to Disneyland, and the same sort of process happened. It was impossible to eat properly there, and came back from there again, gained weight, felt terrible, and then my eyebrows and eyelashes all fell out. So that was terrible. Just realized, wow, is there anything else that I can do to help me out? Because I just feel like I'm doing everything humanly possible to make this work, and it's still not giving me full results. What else out there is there? And that's when I heard about LDN from a good friend who's a very, very naturally focused person, but said, hey, I've heard about this LDN, and it might help you because it's helping other people with autoimmune issues. And then when I went to see the naturopath, I basically said, I'm frustrated. I'm tired of trying to fight this battle with just the diet alone. Is there anything else we can do? And she said, you know what, I was going to tell you the same thing. You're working so hard and you need some more help. And so I was going to bring up, see if you were willing to take LDN. And that's when I started. And that was now, so about 2 years into the disease cycle. So I started losing my hair in 2013, June of 2013, and I started taking LDN in about June of 2015.
Mm-hmm. And what did you notice when you first started? Did you have any introductory side effects?
Well, I'd read and learned that you might get vivid dreams. So I was actually kind of excited about that. I thought, that might be interesting. I've never been one for taking a lot of drugs or anything. But anyway, I did know about that. So we started slow. We started with, I think, 1.5 dose. Then went about 2 weeks, went to 3, and then about 2 weeks went to 4.5. I did get some vivid dreams. And I think it's just, maybe your body's reaction to when those endorphins kick in or something that things go crazy, but it wasn't too bad. But the first side effect first thing that I noticed that I didn't expect was about 2 weeks into the 4.5 milligram dose, I noticed I didn't have any anxiety. And, I have a sort of senior level management position at work. I am a senior person sort of in my church community. I do a lot of public speaking. I do a lot of preparations of Bible studies and things like that. And at the time when I started taking LDN, I was getting ready for I was going to be doing some teaching at a Bible school for teenagers. And I was really working hard trying to get classes prepared. And normally that process creates a lot of anxiety in me. I really get worried about, not having enough time and not making enough progress. And, I end up talking to my wife, and she calms me down and says, just keep moving. And all of a sudden I noticed I wasn't doing that. I was just working. I wasn't worried about all this stress. And I was like, wow, I don't care if my hair ever comes back. I'm going to take this for the rest of my life, because this is a wonderful feeling, just not feeling anxious. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize how it affected me. So that was the first surprise. Then I started noticing my nails improving. As many will know that alopecia also affects your nails, and they get pitted and streaked with white, and they get brittle. And especially my toenails, they looked almost like you had a fungus on your toenail. And I started noticing that there was this ridge. And unfortunately, I never took a picture of it, but there was this defined line where, close to the nail bed and the cuticle, it was totally clear. And above the nail bed, towards the end of the nail, across the line, it was all streaked and pitted and everything. It was like overnight, something changed in that area where the nail was growing. And it was getting clear, and I was like, "Wow, this is amazing! If this can help my nails, and I know nails and hair are related, then I'm hopeful that my hair will come back too." So then it was probably about 3 months later, September-ish time frame, that I took my next sort of set of pictures of my head, because I was still a bit depressed of what my head looked like, and I noticed that the hair that was coming in now. Before it had come in these weird patches, and my kids and I used to laugh, because at one point, you're like, what shape do you see in Daddy's head with the hair that's growing back? It's like looking at the clouds and seeing different things. So we played games with that. But the hair, once it started on the LDN, it was coming in kind of all over. It was still thin, and but it was coming in all over my head, and I was like, wow, this is starting to really work. So I kept it up, and at this point I was still doing my diet, and keeping up with the LDN, and it just sort of kept progressing, slowly, not overnight for sure, but just slowly, getting more hair. So that was really exciting.
And when it came back, was it the same texture as before, or was it finer? Was it the same color, or had it changed color?
Yeah, I would say it's not the same texture. I guess I finally got to the point where I'm growing it and letting it grow now. And so this is about, I'm 18 months in. It was just September of this year, or October of this year, that I said, I'm just going to let it grow out and see what it looks like. So it's gray, but I was going gray before I lost my hair, but it's grayer for sure. And it's a little coarser, I would say, at this point than it was when I lost it. And I'm just sort of interested to see, how it continues to grow in, and if it sort of reverts back or not. Mm-hmm. It was a browner sort of color, and now I would say it's more black and more gray. Mm-hmm. As it comes in, and definitely coarser.
What about your eyebrows and eyelashes? Have they grown back?
I've got a little bit of eyebrows coming in. Definitely coming in there. And my eyelashes, I've got a few that are starting to grow, and I'm interested to see what sort of comes with that. Mm-hmm. I've got definitely a little bit more facial hair. I was a person that used to wear sort of the big long sideburns, and as I look now at my face shaving, that's the other thing. I guess I used to shave maybe, before alopecia, I would shave every day or every other day. I didn't have a heavy beard, but that's sort of the pattern I was on. And then when I had alopecia, I might shave once every 2 weeks, or I guess I still have alopecia, but that's about the pattern I was at. I'd be smooth skinned and no problem. And then just maybe see, one weird hair growing out there that just randomly successfully grew. And now I'm back to shaving maybe every 3 days, because if I don't, I do have enough hair that it's noticeable. So that's coming in more and more too. I'm seeing more in the sideburns and more in my beard area.
And what about the color of your eyelashes, eyebrows, and your, say, beard? Is that a different color as well and texture?
So far, I would say it's pretty normal. Normally that hair is more coarse, mm-hmm. right? So I'd say it looks fairly normal, actually. Yeah.
That's really interesting. And how has that made you feel, self-esteem wise?
Oh, it's it's felt great. I just there's guys in the office now that there's guys with normal male pattern baldness that of course before alopecia I had more hair than them, and then during alopecia I had maybe the same haircut as them, and they said welcome to the club, and they were happy. And now they're jealous again because I got more hair than them again. So yeah, it's made me feel good. Just I just look like maybe a normal guy who's maybe receding hairline type guy. I think, and as a youth, I probably would have sworn I never would have looked like this. I would have, if I was going to lose my hair, I would shave it all off. But now that it's growing back, I'm happier to have it, and I feel better. And now on the bad side, I've had so much success that it's mentally sort of tricked me into going off my diet, and I've been off my diet for about 7 months. And it's hard to say, because I definitely am still having progress with hair growth, but I think I'd have more and be doing better if I was back on my diet and having the LDN there as a support, or as a whatever, that they work together. So I'm sort of steeling myself to moving back towards having my diet. The other thing with me is this is the second major autoimmune disease that I've had. I had juvenile rheumatoid arthritis as a child, from age 9 to about 14. I went into remission when I went through puberty. And so, as part of this journey that I'm on, learning lots from, the community around LDN, and naturopathy and stuff like that, I just realized that I can't eat and like a normal, quote unquote, normal person. I've got to take care of myself a lot more, because I've had rheumatoid arthritis, and I've had alopecia, I developed massive hay fever allergies when I was 18. They just came out of nowhere. There's probably other things that I have come and gone that I haven't noticed, but I'm one of those people that are super susceptible. And, I don't want lupus or MS or any of these other really devastating conditions or rheumatoid arthritis again. That was awful.
Mm-hmm.
Alopecia is bad, but it's not like those other ones. And I also had low thyroid with this condition. And that's the other thing that's changed a lot is maybe even before the hair started growing back, in about the same time as I noticed my anxiety going away and the nails changing as I was getting my thyroid tested. I started getting, I forget exactly when, but I started noticing that I started out at about 120 milligrams of desiccated thyroid on the start of my journey. And now I'm down to 30. And all along the way, I keep sort of going above range and feeling kind of jittery, going and get my test and notice, hey, my thyroid is high. And the naturopath says, okay, let's take a pill off and let's take another dosage off.
That's fantastic.
So that's really awesome. It's, my thyroid's healing. And so that connected with all of this too. I'm feeling really, really encouraged that, I don't think I could have done it on diet alone. There's too much toxins and things in food that I just can't control, even though I was doing so much. I know I'm not sleeping enough. I know I have a stressful job. So there's some things that you just can't get out of your life without making, full change, quit your job, move to a desert island somewhere or something and be stress free. I don't know, but that wasn't working for me and I needed some help. And LDN, I am 100% convinced it's helped me. And I'm really thankful for the people that sort of brought it to my attention, and now sort of the community I'm connected with that's sort of continuing to help me understand, what other things I might be able to do to make more progress.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's very interesting that for other people with alopecia, that your hair's not going to come back overnight. You've got to give it time. And that, has come over very clearly. If there was somebody in your position who's just been newly diagnosed or have just found out their hair is falling out, what would you say to them about trying LDN?
Oh, I wouldn't hesitate for a minute. And I'm kind of a promoter of it to almost anybody who I come in contact with. I'm trying to say, people are, it's shown that it's helped cancer and other people too. But for anybody with alopecia, for sure. I know there's not a lot of evidence out there yet. I mean, maybe there's more recently, but there wasn't when I first started. I'd look and see, it's helping people with MS, it's helping people with fibromyalgia. And I just sort of said, well, maybe it'll help me too. But definitely, I believe it will help you. It's going to help your body heal itself, and that's the root cause, right? Is you've got either leaky gut or whatever going on in you. Your thyroid may be having a problem, and it's going to help accelerate your healing process. And I mean, even I'm proof positive that even when you sort of tank on your diet and go back to just regular eating, it's still helping me. That's how powerful I think it is. And then there's the benefit for me of not having anxiety. So between those things, and I have no hesitation at all. It's been really, really helpful.
Do you have LDN experience to share? If so, please email me, linda@ldnrt.org. I look forward to hearing from you.